All right, guys. Things that have plagued this Texas A&M football team continue to plague them, even in an inspired game against LSU. Halftime leads don't last for this team. We've seen that many, many times. Of course, 28 second-half points for LSU, 21 fourth-quarter points for LSU. A&M was outscored, 28-6 down the stretch. This is the TexAgs post-game wrap presented to you by Higginbotham Insurance. You probably only think about insurance when you need it, but at Higginbotham, they think about your risk for you because they want you covered all year long. They start by listening and end with a custom solution that fits your needs and your budget. They do it all, from car to home to health to business to an employee insurance. Higginbotham has got you covered. Higginbotham, a place that leads with value, so your values lead. Call Tyler Smith, 979-871-3162, or visit higginbotham.com. All right, so A&M didn't lose this game because of special teams, but again, special teams played a part in the loss. You lost this game because of mistakes down the stretch and momentum found from LSU. Again, you miss a field goal. You throw a fourth quarter interception. All that gave LSU a lot of momentum in that. You get a defensive holding on a 3rd and 10, which is automatic first down, leads to a Malik Neighbors touchdown. And honestly, the blocking was a problem. You went away from what your game plan was, which was supposed to be what it seemed like quick reads, to now let's hold the ball a long time and let things develop down the field. Look, inspired football. Proud of the way Elijah Robinson and the guys played this game. No doubt about it. Didn't like the fourth quarter, obviously. But they did play inspired football, and I hope Elijah is still being considered as a head coaching candidate. I know that's not a name we hear a lot, but his demeanor, his sideline demeanor, the way this team went for it on 4th down, on 3rd down, how good they were for about 82% of the game. But again, the things that have plagued this team all year long continued to plague them today, and it felt like they got away a little bit from their game plan towards the end once LSU found that momentum. Look, they did a phenomenal job in the first half. Really, I tip my cap to the game plan, running the ball, eating up clock, long drives. But against LSU, a team that I thought you really handled. You only gave up 14 first-half points, right? But again, they score in the 40s to win what they do. Time of possession going great for A&M for the most part, but then they just ran out of time at the end, right? They dominated the time of possession, but it did not work out. Let's go to the guest. We only have one guest today. That would be Brandon Leone joining us. He's on vacation with his family, but he's kind enough to join us on the phone for a few minutes. Brandon, how do you sum this one up, this game and this season?
Yeah, I mean, you sum it up perfectly in your intro. I think, missed opportunities, special team miscues, turnovers at the wrong times. I mean, like you said, I think we handled them pretty well. It's 24-14. You're up 10. And just those same mistakes we've seen all year that have cost us. I saw someone tweet something today that, we were winning 11 games this year at halftime. And we've got to find the ability somehow, some way to close out big-time football games. And I think the most important thing for me, Nuno, for this next head coach, whoever it is, man, is to just instill within them in the deepest core of who they are, whether that's competition in the offseason, like a winning culture. Like, I think the thing that is keeping it's become like our guys are kind of just used to and okay with losing. I know that sounds crazy. I'm not saying they're all their mindset. But once they start tasting winning these big games consistently, I think it's going to create more of a winning culture. And I'm hoping for that, whoever comes in next, because, man, they played their tails off today. But you said it best, man. You give up 21 points in the fourth quarter. You miss a chip shot field goal, kind of swing momentum. Then you turn it over after they respond, and the wheels kind of came off after that. And look, you got to give credit to their quarterback, man. The dude is just a freaking stud. He's going to win the Heisman for a reason. But, man, those are the ones that just hurt as a fan, because you're watching and you went in today with little to low expectations just because of all the things that have happened, the way the season's gone. And then you find yourself watching your team, your talented players making plays, even with your people don't like when I call him your third-string quarterback. The guy that started the season third string has played very well.
Brandon, he is the third-string quarterback. That's just the reality of the situation, and he's played himself up to being a starter somewhere or the backup here. Right? That's who he is now.
No doubt. So, man, the guys fought their tail off, but again, it's the same stuff. It's almost been like Groundhog Day this football season. The old Bill Murray movie where he keeps doing the same stuff every day. The only difference is we didn't make good positive changes towards the end of the season, and we stumbled to 7-5. So I hate it for the guys. I really wanted them to win that, just for them, for E-Rob, for a good feeling to finish the season. They're for sure, without a doubt, LSU's my least favorite team in the SEC. It'll probably stay that way even when Texas know you come. But it was a tough game, man. They fought hard, but we did not finish. We've got Nuño. What is it going to take for us to finish these big football games, man, and move the needle for this program?
Well, Brandon, I'm going to read you a couple of numbers here just to upset you, because when we talk about this game, A&M outgained LSU by 1 yard. They had 390 yards to their 389. They passed for 294 to LSU's 235. Jaden Daniels was excellent in the second half, 235, 4 touchdowns, no picks. But Jalen Henderson had 294 yards. Here's another stat for you. The time of possession, which went, LSU started getting some of that there in the fourth quarter. But time of possession, A&M won by 13 minutes. Yet they won but they lost by double digits.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. But I think it goes down to we gave them an extra possession with the turnover. You can't really call a missed field goal an extra possession because if you made it, they're going to get the ball anyways. But giving them that extra possession, I think when you lost Tyreek Chappelle, that changed the game. I think that was obvious to see. Once he went out, they really started to take advantage. And so another thing,
we're losing Brandon. Let's put him on. Are you back, Brandon? I think we lost you for a second. We're going to put him on hold for. Oh, maybe we won't. Hey, Brandon. Good to see you, bud.
Dude, I'm in the middle of the Panhandle, driving back from New Mexico. I'm sorry if I'm going in and out. Can you hear me now?
All good. Yeah, all good. All good. Hey, Brandon, when it comes to the defensive backs, I know you mentioned Tyreek Chappelle there, but honestly, man, it's been an issue all season long, right? Like people throw on A&M and have career games. Now, I don't think anybody had a career game against A&M today. They might have had some career touchdowns, though, some really beautiful touchdowns. It seems like on the wings, A&M has had so many problems this year.
Yeah, that's. Can you hear me? Just want to double check.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about Tyreek Chappelle. When he went out, he's been our best cover corner, I think. When he went out, that changed the game. When you have those special elite type receivers like LSU has, Alabama has, a lot of the teams in the SEC have, you've got to prioritize cover corners. I think besides left tackle and quarterback, it's the most critical position for a football team to be successful. Because if you got guys that can cover on the outside, you can utilize safety help at times, but if they can go man the island against some of these top players, you can really change things for a defensive coordinator, create pressure, you bring different blitzes. But us not having some just lockdown corners for a long time has really plagued us. I think even Billy tweeted that, like, man, one-on-one deep balls have just killed us in games in the last, let's just call it 8, 9, 10 years. And so whoever the next head guy is, after prioritizing a winning culture, after shoring the offensive line up, let's go find some cover corners that can shut it down.
Even with those huge catches that those wide receivers made, Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, I mean, they were phenomenal. I think A&M may have lost this game here on first thought on not getting the sacks that they almost had. There were several, oh, we got him. No, we don't. Oh, we got him. No, we don't. And he runs for 54 yards. There were so many almost sacks that Jaden Daniels, tip of the cap, he's that good. He was able to make something happen.
Yep. I mean, you're right. It's just it's kind of how these games have felt, right? And it goes back to finishing, man. It's like so often we're right there, we just didn't finish. We've got to learn how to finish, whether that's finishing games, whether that's taking advantage of having a big lead in a big-time game that could change momentum for your program, or it's just getting to the quarterback, man. It's those little tiny things over and over and over that add up and compound like interest that cost you games. And we've got to learn to finish and win everywhere in the game, at the line of scrimmage, out on the outside at corner, in your routes, at the offensive line, protecting the quarterback. We got to learn to finish and win, man.
Hey, it wouldn't be fair to, we've talked a lot about some of the issues, but some of the yays, if you will, out there, the tight end play. Max Wright dropped a huge first down on a fourth down to start the game, but he made up for it with his 54-yard touchdown. Jake Johnson, huge touchdown as well. Those guys were out there balling, Brandon.
They were, man. There was a lot of positives today. I mean, really, it was probably the last 25% of the game that it just went south. I mean, we played hard. The Coach Robinson and Petrino and DJ seemed to have a good game plan. The three-man rush came to bite us again, I think, in the butt. But man, Henderson, like you said, dude, he played a relatively good game until probably late in the third quarter. He started getting sacked. He wasn't getting rid of the ball. But overall, man, those guys fought, dude. And then you could see, let's just say the first half alone, like the talent that is there. Le'Veon Moss was running the football. The receivers were making good plays. The tight ends were battling. Our front was battling. There's a lot of the cupboard is not bare for whoever comes here next. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of good players, and I can't imagine how important it is going to be to keep them, and how fun it's going to be for them if we get someone that can come in here and change the culture significantly. Because everything is here, dude. Everything's here, Nuno, for the next guy.
Brandon, last thing for you. You've seen some of the names out there reported for the Texas A&M head coaching search. Ryan Day's a name that keeps popping up because Ohio State just lost again, a name that Billy floated first, and now the national media are all over it. Mark Stoops, a name that he floated out there yesterday. Mike Elko still out there. Maybe Jed Fish. There's some others out there. And maybe some of the Kansas coaches may not be in the mix anymore, but those are the names that we keep hearing out there. Do you have a direction or a type of personality?
Man, I'm in a bad spot. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think for me, the ones that I like right now, I like the guy from Arizona to see what he's done in the Pac-12 after taking over just a poop show that was left behind. It's been pretty impressive to see what he's done. I like his personality. I like that. I believe he had spent some time under Belichick. Again, going back to that winning culture, I think that's critical. I would like to see us make a run at the Washington guy. It seems like that might be unrealistic depending on how their season goes. But if you're going to just go and find a Stoops type guy or a Trailer type guy, I'm not super excited about that. I think Mike Stoops is a great coach. They beat Louisville today, but he's proven his resume has shown you what he can do in the SEC and what he can't. Granted, I know it's harder to win at Kentucky maybe than it is at A&M. But I just feel like you'd be taking a risk there. Why take this much of a big decision, such a financial decision, and go get Mike Stoops? So for me, it's like this: go as hard as you can to try and get the big guy at Washington, Arizona, or the guy or Ryan Day, Ohio State. Or if you have to be conservative, man, I like the young guy at Troy.
Yeah, he's another name that came up yesterday in Billy's write-up. Brandon, we're starting to lose you again, so we're just going to drop it there, man. Safe travel. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right, buddy.
Brandon Leone there joining us on the post-game wrap. Let's do this for a couple minutes. We'll read some of your messages on here. I'll try to react to some of them and get some final thoughts here. But to me, it's exactly what we saw all season, but different. I know that's a Nunoism for you, Nick. I can tell when you're about to think it out loud. But the way the game played out, you would say, it's the same team they've been all year. But there was something different. Do you follow me there, Nick?
Yeah, just a little bit. I think, I think I don't want to speak for the entire fan base, but I feel like maybe the idea is, let's just get through this bowl game, just like Daniel Sanchez said on the YouTube chat, just disappointed, or I guess he's not disappointed, but he's ready for next year, get a bowl win and reset for next season. So I think, for me at least, it's not that big of the losses sucks because you're leading and you want to turn that into a win, but it's kind of just been the story of the season where you're leading and you can't finish off the game, but hopefully, that starts to change.
Yeah, look, for many of us, now I do believe had they won this game, God, the season would feel so different, right? You're 8-4. You're going to get a new coach. You have a little momentum winning, because you started winning some games down the stretch. But again, unfortunately, now the losing streak on the road continues. 10 straight losses on the road. I mean, you will go to probably a lesser bowl game than you were going to go had you won this game. Now, you got to win that game. You don't know who's going to enter the portal. You don't know who's going to enter the NFL draft. There's a lot of unknowns. Those unknowns were there, but you come off of win against a rival on the road and ending that stuff, it really changes it. Give me some other messages there, Nick.
Yeah, let me throw one up here for you. Here is Javier the Extraordinaire. The offense definitely looked different. Saw some new things today. Naboo with his first touchdown of the year. Yeah, how about that? The big man getting in.
Look, the offense didn't do enough at the end of the game, and that's a problem. The offense was much better the last month of the season. The offense was much better after the Tennessee game. The offense, to me, looked more free when Bobby Petrino was on the field, right? Those are all things that are pluses. Yeah, they looked great against Mississippi State. And you saw, hey, Ole Miss had a close game against Mississippi State. A&M beat down their doors. Like, it was just terrible. So the team still had a lot of the same issues we saw all year, right? The line and blocking in general. I'm not pointing all the direction at the line, but blocking was not good, was not elite. And in this game, as the game went on, I felt like there were times that Jalen Henderson probably held on to the ball a little bit too long, but also he was facing fire. That was part of it. They went away from the quick reads. But you think about the game, like, again, his numbers weren't better than Jaden Daniels when we talk about the rushing attack. But you look at what he did today. He rushed for, I guess, not that many yards, only 10 yards because of the sack. I need to see what the numbers are without the sacks because he was sacked quite a few times. But that being said, he threw for 294 yards. He had that touchdown, 2 touchdowns, I should say. The pick was demoralizing. The pick and the missed field goal, those were the 2 demoralizing points of this game. And then you don't get the 2-point conversion, which, by the way, was the absolute right call. But those are 5 points right there. And now we're talking about a 12-point loss. And I know they had a chance to win. They could have scored more touchdowns at the end. So, but it does change the way you play, in my opinion, if you're down 7 as opposed to down 12. Nick, let's try to get 1 or 2 more messages in, and then we'll call it a night.
Okay, I got one here from our friend B-Glow. He said the offense was as good as it could be with Bobby working around the offensive line.
Yeah. Look, the offensive line has their issues. I was actually very intrigued and loved the way we saw Le'Veon Moss run today. He didn't get that many chances, but he ran really tough. And the offense did run the ball better in the first 3 quarters. But again, it all stopped. And we can point at all these games. Miami, you didn't have the lead at the half, but you basically had the lead at the half, right? You gave up a dumb touchdown with a minute left, and then they took the lead. But after that, you had a lead against Bama. You had the lead.
Well, here you go. Message from Colin Parker. Could be our last one. We had the lead in 11 of the 12 games and lost 5. You got to finish.
Wow. Lead in 11 out of 12 games, and you lost 5. That seems like last year, too. Well, last year was different, but again, last year had a lot of close games. Look, one thing is certain. Here over the next few days or week, we'll know who the new head coach is. And I know I speak for many of you, and I don't want to necessarily speak for you, but I am at a point where we'll see. Whoever it is, I'm going to see some good things, and I'm going to have some questions, right? To me, what's it going to look like come October, mid-September in the SEC games, the new SEC? This team is close, but not close enough. Because if you don't finish, you're not that close. And that's exactly where they are. All right, that's going to do it for our post-game wrap here. A&M played valiant. I love the game plan. Elijah Robinson, I hope you are considered because I love your demeanor on the sidelines. I think the players love playing for you. And I like the guts you guys played with and going forward and how good you were, especially early on in 3rd and 4th downs. It was fantastic to watch. Wasn't enough, but hopefully your future is bright, and hopefully it's with A&M in some capacity. And hopefully a lot of these players give A&M another look. That are the guys that are here, depending on who they bring on, gives it another look because A&M is a decision, as Elijah Robinson said, it's a 40-year decision, right? It's a whole lifetime decision. And hopefully many of those guys will stick around. That's going to do it for the TexAgs post-game wrap brought to you by Higginbotham Insurance. We will see you tomorrow on the Luchador podcast. Might have some coaching updates. Might. And then, of course, on TexAgs Radio on Monday morning. We'll see you then.